Elektra Fike-Data. I have the unique honor of serving as Tree San Diego's executive director. We are a small but mighty nonprofit, as we've heard today. There's a lot of power, passion, and courageous activity coming from our local nonprofits here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what we do as a nonprofit. So we'll be sharing a little bit about why urban forestry matters, what we do about it at Tree San Diego, some of the projects and the programs that we're working on, as well as the impacts that we've made. And in the interest of time, I just want to spotlight what San Diego City is doing. So urban forestry goals, they are top down. We've got regional, well, we've got federal, we've got state, we've got regional, we've got local, we've got communal urban forestry goals. But what we're focusing right now is that urban space. And that urban space is a built environment. And oftentimes we're reintroducing trees into the built environment. City of San Diego has a 13% canopy coverage rate. They're shooting for a 30 to 35%. Seems, low, but that's actually pretty average. We're trying to work to bump that up even to 40, maybe even 50% in our parks and in our streetways. So why are we doing that? There's a lot of benefits that come from trees, right? We get that question a lot. The three that are closest to my heart are reducing urban heat. We live in an area where we're dealing a lot with urban heat from the built environment, sometimes self-imposed. We need to sequester carbon and greenhouse gases, which trees do. And then we're expanding access to green space, right? Not everybody has that, especially in metropolitan areas. We're trying to reintroduce that green space to folks. So at Tree San Diego, we are kind of your one-stop shop, all-inclusive urban forestry team, but we've shifted not just from planting trees, but looking at the workforce that makes that happen, the plan that needs to be in place, the regional urban forestry master plan that needs to be in place, which doesn't exist yet, but you'll hear a little bit more about what the plan is for that, what the plan for the plan is for that, and then obviously planting trees, which wouldn't be possible without people, without labor, without passion, without continual commitment to that mission. So how do we approach urban greening? How do we approach tree planting? These one-time tree plantings, they feel good. You get to take a picture, you put your tree in the ground, many people forget about it afterwards, but there's a long-term plan to take care of those, especially in the public areas. When we talk about mass tree planting, we're talking about thousands of trees, not tens, not 12s, not hundreds, thousands of trees. So if we're looking at 1, 5, 10,000 trees, we need to address the challenges or the barriers that are already existing. So I went back to our team back in 2022 and I said, look, we're not hitting the thousands. What is the challenge? And we came up with these 5 focus areas. And ironically, the location to plant trees was one of the hardest things to overcome. You can't just plant a tree. You can't just go outside and drop a tree in a park or on the right of way. There's a lot that goes into that. Overhead infrastructure, underground infrastructure. Is there a plan in place for a park to rip up the trees and maybe reevaluate the landscaping in 10 years from now so they won't plant now? Workforce, who's actually taking care of these trees long term? Does the city have a department? Does the city have a forester? Maybe an arborist, maybe not. Not every city does. So we're looking at all of these pieces. Materials, also something to consider right now. We're dealing with a citrus quarantine, right? Or you've got a palm weevil that's being monitored by our local institutions currently. These things all have to be taken into consideration before we do any mass planting, possibly even just one tree at a time. So water, also something we need to consider. We're in a drought affected area, and then that maintenance might even be more important than that location piece, because again, what happens after everyone takes a picture with their tree and celebrates their tree planting? So what happens in the establishment phase? What do we do 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? And how are those eco benefits of those trees being calculated long term? Before we get into just some highlights of some of the successes we've had in the recent years, I do believe tracking progress is everything. It helps us tell our story. We're doing that with some of the best state-of-the-art technology. Obviously GIS is really hot right now, but it does show a picture of that square that you're seeing up there. That's Balboa Park, thousands of trees. We've got 40,000 trees tracked through our database, most in underserved communities, low-income communities, those affected by urban heat. We brought in an incredible partner called Firewatch to start with multispectral imaging, photogrammetry, that's drones, showing the health of our canopy over time. It's fast, it's cheaper than LiDAR. We can tell that story quickly. We can bring the big printed easels to City Council and explain where we need to plant and what's changed over the course of a planting season or even a couple years. So we are starting to do that more and more, and we're starting to make that more transparent so that folks can understand that we've got many species out there, not all native. There's only a couple that actually thrive here on a native side, and in an urban environment, I'll give you an example. You can't plant an oak tree downtown. Everyone thinks we can do that. We can't do that for various reasons, and we want to bring in a biodiverse, thriving forest so that we can reap the benefits of drawing down urban heat, bringing down the cost of electricity, shading a building, offering shade trees to schools so that our kids don't have the effects of, blacktop heat and other things. So all of that to say, we're starting to build all of those pieces into these programs. Leafing Our Legacy we rolled out last year. That was our first initiative. I remember our team kind of shuddered. I was like, let's give 1,000 trees away. And they were like, what? With what? Labor, right? We have two people at the time. And then we were able to expand that to the next 5,000. And now we're looking at the next 10,000. That's all within 18 months. Why? Because the demand is there. People want trees. I've never seen a single person that hates trees. Fingers crossed. Don't jinx me on this. But I will say in a climate action plan, right? A lot of that is being contested. There's a lot of things that have to be reevaluated, but the trees, never. Everyone loves the trees. It's a visual representation of the investment that the city is making. If you're in the Target parking lot and it's 100 degrees, where are you gonna look for shade? It's usually under a tree. That's where you park your car. Like all of those things are use cases, right? But they're in the built environment. We're bringing them, we're expanding it. We can do that through Leafing Our Legacy by empowering residents to plant trees, no strings attached. Pick up a tree. You can do it today. Sign up. Tree tracks came out of the COVID era. And as we re-enter post-COVID, we found that people really were craving to be outside. They wanted to learn about their environment. People were leaving their jobs to go on a camper van and explore the Yosemite and things like that. So we started building I'd say like a tour, we'll say, a tour around the county. One park per municipality, invite everybody there. They get a little passport. At the end of your passport, you get a tree. That's awesome, right? So we started doing that last year. Our biggest one so far is about 60 or 70 people in Balboa Park. Now it's consistent. We've got a lot of people coming out. We're now contracted with multiple cities to do that, to get people excited about climate action plans and their tree initiatives. Tree Stewards actually trains our residents to take care of trees long term. Balboa Park also uses our team to help continue that, to bring back volunteers, not one time, but like 4 or 5, 6 times, so that we can continue doing that at a broader scale and use a train-the-trainer model. And then data and research. Obviously, we can't do any of this without supporting the work that we're doing with accurate data. And right now we're focused on urban heat, as I mentioned a few times, to see how that shade canopy is affecting the effects of urban heat. So quick shout out to our youth engagement piece. We do have fellowships and internships. I truly believe the future is with our youth right now, and they are impassioned and hungry and ready to do stuff. They were out there for 3 hours digging one hole the other day. I mean, it's incredible they're doing that because they want to make a difference. We're seeing that consistently over and over, and we encourage them to take part in the entire process. I'm sure, as many of you know, in the nonprofit space, we all wear these hats, all the hats, right? We're wearing all the hats. Everything from partner relationships to marketing to trying to tell your mission story to research, community outreach. So our interns, young, they go right to the meetings with us, with the city. They get to listen in, they get to shadow in the field, they get to work with the arborists, they get to prune trees and build berms and track and build their resumes and such. So it's been an incredible opportunity to see them grow through our mission. And then something I want to highlight is that workforce piece I mentioned. We're very lucky to be one of the NGOs in San Diego County to be funded to build a brand new curriculum, kind of the flavors of urban forestry for entry-level jobs, folks that want to be maybe in job transition or coming out of high school and want to be in the field and want to do this work. So we started doing that a couple years ago. We started with a goal of about 100 candidates, and I'll share some cool metrics on that in a moment. But quick highlight of what we're offering: it's paid training, so you get paid to learn. We're trying to make it as easy and accessible as possible. So we do hybrid at night on Zoom, and then we take them into the field on the weekends. They get to plant trees. They learn about environmental justice and the cultural significance with our tribal partners of oak trees and the story of the oak trees, inventories, GIS, all of it. So it's hands-on, it's really fun. We're recruiting for that right now, and part of that win for us is we are almost at around 200 paid candidates through that program, and we'll be bumping that up more than double. There's a shot of them recently out there planting trees with a tree guard and all the things. I didn't want to show you the post-pounder one because that takes a lot of effort, but if you see some of our photos out there, there's it's the all-inclusive approach to tree planting. So you've got your berm, your mulch, your stake ties, your nails, your tree. And we're not talking like little trees. We're talking 15-gallon, 36-inch box. So that takes cranes sometimes, right? It takes 15 people to pull that into a hole in the ground that is usually pre-dug, hopefully, if we've got there in time. So if you're anywhere near the San Diego Library, those huge 36-inch box trees, that's our team. That's our small but mighty team out there, getting as many volunteers as we can to get them in the ground. Trees that we have planted recently with distributions included, it was about 14,000. We're hoping to bump that up to about 20,000. We hit our 10,000 late last year, and we're already rolling out another 4,000 there. Tree stewardship trainings, these are long-term committed volunteers that want to go through these programs. We're almost at 80, around 78. And then that 190 already paid for and supported by CAL FIRE through a grant that we had the last couple of years. We've got some wonderful future goals, so I'm just going to highlight this again, this people, plan, and plant model being a somewhat of a sustainability-esque, right? Your people, profit, and planet type model. But what we'd like to do is focus on bringing in an additional 300, so almost 500 over the course of the next 2 years. Trade candidates, find them jobs, bump up this workforce as much as we can because we are seeing an exodus in this space. The Urban Forestry Master Plan, we received funding through the Inflation Reduction Act. We were the only NGO, unfortunately, unfortunately, how you see that, that received that funding here. Many, many more worthy urban greening institutions here that could have benefited from that. So we're trying to raise all the boats at the same time, bring in partners, and do that through this Urban Forestry Master Plan, which brings every single municipality, every single climate action plan, every single urban forestry plan together to reevaluate it as a region. It's going to take a long time, a couple years, but we've got some wonderful partners building that out with us. So that's a huge part. That is going to build the sustainability of these programs so that we can plant the right tree in the right place with the right care. And again, planting. Small amount for this particular grant focus, only 2,000 trees. We are going to be focused on getting those into our underserved communities, those that have lowest canopy at this time. And then hopefully complement that with the free tree program as well. So I'm going to wrap it up there, but I do want to encourage you all to get involved. I wouldn't be a nonprofit executive director if I didn't do that. So please come volunteer with us. Pick up a free tree. Join us in the field if you can for tree stories or tree treks. I promise it's easy on the knees. We keep it light. And become a terrific tree member. And join us online as well if you can. Help us tell that story. There's no partnership that's too crazy or anything like that. We want to find a way to get people involved. And I'll just give a small anecdote to that point. We actually work with the food bank and the blood bank because we have these opportunities to say, hey, you want to save a tree, save a life, you can do two at the same time. Let's find ways to collaborate. There's so many ways to do that. We will find a way to help elevate your mission while we're also getting trees on the ground and elevating ours. I think that is the way of the future, especially now while we're dealing with these uncertain and challenging times. So just wrapping it up, thank you so much for all that you're doing in the nonprofit space. And if any of you are in the environmental space, kudos to you. I know it's an uphill battle right now, but we're doing the work, and it's a pleasure and an honor to do this with Tree San Diego, and I hope you guys see us in the field. Thank you.